This is the video for Simplex Tableau displayed with alpha notation. The two routines we're going to go over, this first one does the matrix display, and the second one displays the numbers above the columns and aside of the rows. Over here on the right, Tableau 0 is the initial tableau for the problem. It has a column for each item, 1, 2, and 3, a column for each slack variable, 4, 5, and 6, and you see when it's initialized that has the identity matrix in it, and the seventh column has the quantities in it. Each one has an on-hand quality of 100. And the last row down here is the margin row. This 8 represents the price for the first item, the 5 for the second item, and this other 5 for the third item. So this is the initial tableau. Well, it checks the margins and sees an 8. Well, that's the highest positive margin, so it's going to bring that one into the solution. So Tableau 1 has that one brought into the solution, and here we see it with a 1, 0, 0, 0. That indicates it was brought into the solution, and it made all the changes to all the rows to reflect the fact that it was brought into the solution. But what's different now about the expression of the number, here it says 44444 space and E. This E says that there are 5 decimal places in this number. So this number is really 0.44444. And it's plus because there's no minus sign here. The next one down here has a D. That's the 4th letter of the alphabet, so this one has 4 decimal places. So it's 7.1111. The one below it is minus D. Well, that means 4 decimal places, and the number is minus. So it means this number is really minus 1.6667. Now, had these been uppercase letters, it would have meant, in the first case, if that was a capital E, that it's not only these 5 4s, but followed by 5 zeros. This one would be a capital D, it would be followed by 4 zeros. This is alpha notation. Let's go over to the quantity column. Here all of them have a C, which means there's 3 decimal places. So this is really 11.111. This one's 77.778, and so forth. That was 3 decimal places because of the letter C. And then we see another transition to Tableau 2 where it brings in the second item, and another transition where it brings in the third item, and then it discovers that there's no more positive margins, so it stops. Alright, this is displayed in alpha notation. Now we're going to go over to these two routines. The first one sets LS, that's a control register, to the maximum number of columns. So LS is what will be added when you go from the beginning of one row to the beginning of the next row. It's the offset between rows. MS is going to be the number of columns that are in our display. That is going to be 7 because there are 6 to the quantity offset, then it adds 1 and it's 7. The next control register NS is set to the part count. It's going to be used for the number of rows, but there's one additional row, that's the margin row, so it adds 1 to NS. Next, it sets the font to 416. That means bold 16 points. And the next one says go to CCI. Oh, I'm sorry, that's CL. That's this routine down here. There's the CL, and there's the return on C. So this says go do a subroutine, and this is the subroutine. The next instruction says box N, box the numbers. Where are the numbers at? They're at Tableau offset T. Each one of these was at a different offset T. The first one, the offset was 0. T was changed to 500, and it did this one. T was changed to 1,000, it did this one. T was changed to 1,500, and it did this one. So that T is telling it where to go in the Tableau list to find the data at offset T. Let's go back to the beginning here. We see the number 123007. The 123, 123,000, just tells the engine that these three registers are going to be used. The L, the M, and the N are going to be used to display the data. The 7 indicates that there are 7 positions in the data. Well, 2 of the positions, one for the sign and the other for the alpha notation, means that there's really 5 to display the significant digits. And as we saw over here, there were 5 significant digits each time. So the alpha notation shows the 5 significant digits, the sign, and then the letter. So the 7 actually indicated that there were 5 significant digits. This 0 just said they're not updatable. It's just displaying them. If that had a value, it would be the click number for it. And then you could click on every one of these and change it. But since it's only going to display it, you can't click on it. Alright, this is the routine that was used to display each one of these as the value of T was changed. Alright, now we'll go over this subroutine that was used only to display these numbers at the top and at the beginning of the rows. First, it says here it's going to move the 3 values at LS. Well, LS you'd say is just one value, but actually in the memory of the computer, LS is followed by MS, which is followed by NS. So it's saving all 3 of them in this list. Then it sets X to the offset horizontally. L is set to 1, and N is set to 1. L in this case doesn't mean anything because here we're telling it there's only one row. So there's never a row offset needed. But we set LS to 1 just to be nice. Next we have the box N, and it's going to show the numbers. These numbers are just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think it made them up to like 30. But it's just the numbers. How many numbers it's going to display? Well, MS numbers, the value up here that it created, which is 7. Remember, this box N instruction is going to use all 3 of those control registers to know what to do. But in this case, numbers is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that it's going to put here at the top of each column. So that does it there. Then here it says it's going to move the data back for L, M, and S. Remember, we saved it up here. Now it moves it back. And it says it's going to set XS to 4 now. That's right here where it's going to put those numbers. It's going to add 20 to YS because it's no longer up here. It's now come down. Then it sets LS to 1 and MS to 1. Now remember, now this time, the one that it didn't change is the number of rows, and that was NS. So ns now is the 3 plus 1 up here, or 4. So this time when it gets to this instruction, box n is going to be 4 of them, 4 of these numbers displayed. And here it says again, and I didn't mention up here that they're not updatable. You can't click on those numbers. Then after it does the numbers for the rows, it moves the original data back again for L, M, and S, and adds 20. Ooh, 26. Oh, makes excess 26 to move over to start putting these values. And that's the end of that routine. Alright, it's also the end of this video on Simplex Tableau displayed with alpha notation.